Hello, everyone. Welcome to Four Checks Cast, or I guess Three Checks Cast today, because we are three of the four. Because as you might see from the NyQuil bottle, Broberg is out with the flu. Hopefully, he will be back with us next week. But we still wanted to be on because there's a lot to talk about moving forward. So let's go and just get started with it. We haven't had a meeting since Buffalo. So I wanted to kind of check in with y'all. Most importantly, Will, who I think was the best performer on
Yeah.
the cast, right?
Out of the
Will?
four of us, yeah, cause that's not hard.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
well,
Tim
it is because
didn't.
10 didn't show up. It was like a
Hey,
50-50 between
Will,
me and Broberg.
Will, I have to acknowledge the few times you outperform everyone else here. I have to give credit where
Sure.
credit is due.
The funny part is I did the exact same thing I always do, where I'm like, oh, I don't like the decks I'm testing at home. Let me pivot to something that I know is good.
Yeah.
But I have not tested at all with, like I did with Porco in Louisville.
One of these days, you'll just actually start testing with a good deck to begin with.
I mean, it's not so much that I test with like bad decks. It's like I play them and I'm happy with them and they feel great. And I'll have like one or two locals where they just get absolutely destroyed. And I'm like, I don't want to play this anymore.
Nothing hurts me more than when I am play testing a deck the night or 2 nights before a tournament and I get bad draws or whatever. It psychs me out so bad. And I just
Mhm.
shouldn't do it. Like I do
Oh,
it to keep
right.
familiar with the stuff and keep warm on my combos and stuff.
Mhm.
But I almost feel like it's not worth it sometimes in the mind game of like, oh, I'm drawing bad, I'm checking bad, this deck's actually trash.
Oh yeah, yeah. That is exactly how I felt because we did a grind night for final round, and I played the Bridget deck I was working on, and oh, I basically got turned to by Chris's Nago, um, I think it was, I don't remember. Oh, I'm so embarrassed because I'm bad at our team names, but one of our teammates was playing Happy Chaos, and I got turned to by Happy Chaos, and I was like, what the hell?
How are you getting
Although
turned by Happy Chaos?
his Happy Chaos list is sick though.
Was it a Rampage Happy Chaos?
No.
Okay,
It probably could have been, but he's playing like one or two four diffs that he really likes,
sure.
which is fine. And I borrowed a D-build Bridget deck just to be like, okay, maybe my build is actually just trash, and I play against Rebby, and she also, it was a very long game, and she also beat me, and my deck was not performing well, and I was just like, I don't want to play Bridget anymore.
I will say so. Like I did something I don't often do. I actually commentated unofficially, of course, with Chris pretty much the whole event for
Hmm.
Swiss. And it was a lot of fun seeing the stream decks. You mentioned Bridget. I think my biggest like sadness, my biggest disappointment was that JJ's Bridget did not top because I
That
don't
deck
know if
was
you
cool.
JJ's like were you running finger guns in any of your builds of Bridget?
No, like I was talking in final round chat. I was like, guys, how do none of us think about finger guns with
The,
Filet Fling and Bridget?
there are some of those times where you see a player where you're like, oh, you're a next level deck builder. You're really thinking deep in the card pool. And seeing like the utilization of finger guns to perpetuate these fillet fling loops with invisible infiltration. Two of those three cards had not seen much conversation in Bridget. Really, only fillet fling had been like a thing most people I heard talk about.
Invisible was until she got eroded.
Yeah. And then she got rotted, and people were like, okay, no, now that you can't do the like permanent D build, we don't know if I still worth in her. Seeing the way he utilized that was, oh my God, so cool. And like I saw him win that game so handedly against Ghidorah, and I'm like, man, this is going to be a top 8 deck list. It's going to be so hard to talk about. And then it just didn't manifest. And I get why. I think it was a deck that probably struggled a little bit when it didn't find its combo, and it probably like dies to the really aggressive decks pretty easily. That's the issue I've had with Bridget whenever I
Right.
try testing her. So like I get why I was so sad when that deck didn't top. But so talk about the event itself, kind of like what was your path through Top Cut like,
Oh
or
God.
into Top Cut?
Well, like I said, I did the thing I usually do where I played a deck I have like no experience with. I
Mhm,
guess I guess it helped that I've played Mikasa 1 a whole lot, and that deck
mhm.
plays fairly similar. Let me pull up my metaverses because I barely remember what I played against. That whole weekend was a blur. Yeah, so yeah, round one I get paired into Tam, which
I
is the mirror
remember that.
match
I
of the person
remember
who
that.
made the deck. And I'm like, well, that's cool. He knows everything I'm doing. I barely know everything that he's doing. And there was one time where I was like, finally got a Koenma's off, and he just, canceled my Koenma's with his own. And I was like, well, I'm probably dead now. And hey, look, I lost 2-0. I played a Soul after that. It was like a City Rampage Soul,
Sure.
and it's pretty close. Like I got it 2-0, but both games were I was like maybe at 5 or so. Round 3 I played against a Mimic that I played against when I was playing Godzilla in Atlanta. I got that 2-1. I mean, and it was pretty much what you expect Mimic to be doing right now, which is just playing the good stuff for Chaos. I don't know
Yeah.
how else to put it. I played against a Bridget after that, and that was rough because the Bridget walled me
Woo.
after I got them turn game 1. Game 2 I got walled out, and then game 3 I also got walled out, but I got lucky and drew like 4 low attacks on a turn where they had only a high block and just murdered them. After that, I played against Jet. And I think a lot of people know Jet on Discord. He was playing Devil Jin, and that was a rough one. Although it says I got it 1-0, but I think I was supposed to get it 2-0. Maybe I just reported it wrong. But either way, I still got it.
Mhm.
The games were really, really close. Like I was terrified for my life pretty much the entire time I played against Devil Jin. Um I had a turn though where I killed him with 0 foundations going first, or like starting my turn. It was
Mhm.
like at 11. I just drew the right cards and checked really well, and that was a fun. I got a fun thing that I got to mark off my UVS achievement list. I played Aaron Yeager won in round 6 versus Ryan Kogon, and that character still has legs. Like I am surprised that he. I mean, I think I might have been the one who knocked him out of top cuts. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That was round 6, so I don't know how he did in round 7, how he would have done if he had won. But that deck was terrifying. Like
Sure.
it was super cool. And then the part that threw me for a loop with this entire event was that I got paired into Ryan. Um, Leading up to that, I'm like, okay, I'm 5-1. All I have to do is ID, and I'm in.
No.
Fantastic. And I'm like, surely there will be another 5-1. And the round starts to end, and I look, and I'm like, bro, are you kidding me? Like, I am the only 5-1.
Yep.
There's a 6-0, or there's a 5-0, 5-0-1, I think. And then the highest ranked player, and they got paired obviously. And I'm looking at everything else, and it's like Ryan at 402. Hey Chris, by the way. And then like a whole bunch of other people at 4-1-1,
Yep.
and I'm just like, oh cool, I have to play this. And we go to our match. We get told we're going on the stream table, and I'm like, cool, I'm getting stream curse. Cool, dude. I since the one time I did well on stream in Kissimmee when I was top 8 Kirishima 2 versus Nomu, I have never ever been able to pull out a game on stream. I hate stream.
I hate stream table as well. I respect it.
Um and we spent a very long time discussing like whether or not Ryan could like ID with his tiebreakers just because of all the other records. And I am really glad he didn't, because we kind of forgot about all the 4 and 2s going into round 7. We're like, oh, we only have to worry about the 4-1-1s. No big deal. No, we also have to worry about the 4 and 2s in that scenario. But thankfully we played. He got me. I was really frustrated because I was like, that's all I needed for day 2. Now I have to deal with the tiebreakers. I am so screwed. And the entire time I'm sitting there in anxiety because I'm like, I don't know if I made it. I don't know if I made it. And then finally they called me for top 8, and I was very happy. I was very relieved.
I remember we were looking in the chat and it was like, yeah, Ryan might be able to ID here and stay in, but I remember Wub, who Calvin, who if anyone doesn't know, is like locals and pretty close friends with Ryan.
Yeah.
Was like, yeah, well, but Ryan also really wants to be top seed because he needs top 4 for day 2.
Mhm.
And so, like, there's no difference for him really between top 8 and bubbling out.
Sure.
So he wants that higher pairing of
Right.
being higher seed by winning to increase his shot. I'm like, okay, no, that makes sense. It sucks. Like, that means that no matter what, it's going to get played out. And when I saw it get played out, I was like, oh, no. But you only needed top 8, right? Like, you only need
Yes,
top 8
that's all I needed. So I am guaranteed for day 2 now.
So that means the entirety of the final round podcast, not final round, 4 checks podcast.
This guy.
I'm very tired. I've had a long week. The 4
if only they won't let me in.
4 checks cast team is in fact in day 2 now. So that's exciting news. Means that all of us can just relax on Friday.
Mhm.
What was your top 8 match like? Like, how I know like it was a 1-2, but how did it end up feeling?
So I sat down there and I was like, look, man, I got top 8. I don't care how I do. I'm not gonna make it easy on you, but I'm not gonna get tilted if I just flub this.
Sure.
It was pretty much like it was basically how you expect a game against Devil Jin to go. Like game 1, I think it was game 1 I lost because he just Devil Jin me on like turn 2. Game 2 I just swept the floor with him because I got to Mikasa.
Yeah.
And then game 3, we both had 3 turns in a row where we just whiffed. Right?
Cool.
Like I just drew a bunch of gray. I drew maybe 1 attack each turn. But I had the defense to keep him from killing me. Like I had Hero's Upbringings. I had all kinds of things just to say, absolutely not, you're not killing me. And then he would leave himself wide open defenseless because he wanted to try and kill me. Well, not wide open, but he'd play like, 2 attacks, which are still threatening. And then like 3 foundations. And then go to my turn and I draw absolutely nothing.
Devil Jin can like play 1 foundation and pass, and he's pretty close to being wide open defensively.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. No defense.
Yeah.
That man says, I'm going to kill you or die trying. Like, he does not try to play defense.
I will block with a Goblin Bolt.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I tried.
I will hope that's enough.
Yeah, and I tried really hard, but my deck just was like, you know what? I did this much work for you over the weekend. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Which, you know what? I'm fine with, because like I said, I had no experience with the deck aside from watching Tam play it.
Out of curiosity, did your rival need top 4 to make day 2, or like what was the situation there?
I think I don't remember. I know he was one of the people who only made day 1 barely, but either before that or by showing up to the event. So I think he needed to get
exactly 2nd place. Right?
Yeah, he needed 2nd or 1st, I think.
Which he did, in fact, get 2nd place. So
did he? Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I didn't pay attention that far. Oh, nice. Cool. Well, I'm glad for him.
Yeah. So speaking of, that kind of transitions us nicely. Let's go and talk a little bit about what the top cut looked like. I will say, in terms of looking at the top cut,
just real quick, because this tournament started 2.5 hours late.
Yes.
Yeah. We should address the elephant.
Can we just take a moment? That is not okay.
No, it is okay. Yeah. We didn't talk about the runnings of the tournament itself. Let's take a moment and do that. As a viewer, it was so funny because like I hopped on commentary. Like I was like, I'll hop on 30 minutes before. I'll talk to Chris and we'll be good to go. And then like we sat there and played Cosmic Invasion for like an hour and a half, or watched Zach play Cosmic Invasion.
Yeah, it was a Cosmic Invasion stream with a side of UVS.
And I think where we like cracked up was when we look at the unregistered, like, oh, someone dropped, and we look and it's you had dropped out.
Yeah. Part of this is like I didn't need anything for this event, right? Wasn't even like that excited about trying to make the top 8 pay for travel thing, because then I have somebody else doing my travel arrangements.
Yeah, that can be annoying.
But also like I'm the sort of person I stress out a lot about Christmas shopping.
Yeah.
And so we're sitting here waiting for this event to start. I'm just stewing, right? There's a mall literally across the street. It's a huge mall.
Right.
Right.
Sure.
And like I need to get shopping done. And I'm like, man, I don't need to be here. I probably shouldn't be here because I'm not allowed to get sick. And I have shopping to do. And the main reason I came anyway was because I wanted to see people and like hang out after Swiss mainly, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then the tournament's Swiss is gonna be done at 10 p.m. now. Like there's like this doesn't make sense. I'm just gonna go try to get some shopping done. And I ultimately failed to buy anything, and then drove home and watched you guys stream.
Yeah. How far away is
It's like an
Buffalo
hour.
from Rochester?
It is an hour. It's not bad at all.
Hour. Okay, so like
Yeah.
if you didn't have that much like sunk cost into
I never. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like I walked up to I'm like, look, I'm allowed to just leave and lose nothing. I'm gonna do that.
now
Right?
that
Somebody has to protest this also, right? Because
Right.
this is crazy. And I'm sure UVS would say, yeah, we don't think it's acceptable either. Yeah, we're really complaining to them about this. Yeah, we've looked at other software and they could develop their own software, right?
Yes.
This is not the tournament softwares like this are not like doing literally everything that Card.io does starts to get to be a bit much, like taking payments and stuff like that. But the act of like operating a card tournament is something that you could have as like a mid-college project, like a 200 or a 300 level thing. So it's all just like algorithm. It's all just math and formulas and figuring out the display side of things.
And even if we want to say that that making their tournament software is too much, which I don't think it is. Like I agree with you.
Yeah, right.
Let's even in the hypothetical say that there is no excuse that 2 weeks ago or a week ago or whenever May was on Card.io's like software.
Oh, that wasn't the problem.
It
that
wasn't
even remotely the problem.
What happened? Was it just the software?
They had a workaround for May.
Yeah.
Wait, so what happened that caused it not to run?
It just wouldn't run.
Yeah, it just didn't
It
run.
simply would not start the tournament.
So what happened was, because I watched this happen in real time on my phone, I had the event up because I was waiting for it to start because it was basically start time. And I'm pretty sure I watched the exact moment they hit start tournament because my browser tried to refresh the page and Card.io gave me the like error loading tournament little pop-up windows and then silence. And I was like, that was weird. Guys, I think I just watched Card.io shit the bed. And then lo and behold, 20 minutes later, they're like, hey, lunch break now. Sorry, guys, we'll see you at 12:30.
Oh no, an hour, 20 minutes later.
Sure, fair, whatever. Either way.
It appeared as though Card.io should theoretically have people on call for weekends because this should be a working day for them because this is when all the big events are running, but I guess they just don't. Whatever support system they pretended that they had in place wasn't there because there was nothing happening and nothing being done. And and so this just ran on for long enough that they just said, all right, we're just going to eat before the tournament starts because it's been an hour and a half. And I was at the mall by then. I left after like an hour, 15 minutes. I was walking around at 10. I'm like, guys, if this goes another like 15, 20 minutes, I'm just leaving. It sounds like it took 2.5 hours to actually start the tournament.
Yeah. Because they were basically like, we don't know when it's going to come back. So just go ahead and take your lunch break now. Hopefully it'll come back. I think it was fixed within like 20 minutes from there. Still unacceptable either way.
Right.
But like
it's one of those frustrating things because it's a thing that I really do want to complain about. Because I agree with you guys. Like this is a big problem that this happened this way.
Right.
But like it's the kind of thing that's not going to hurt the sales of UVS product for the most part, I don't think. And so I'm like, are they like, what incentive do they have to change it? And besides just us complaining and throwing a fit, and I guess that is what we can do about it, and just hope that.
Yeah, I think you, as pointed out in chat, Card.io's reputation in general across card games is getting to be pretty bad.
It's really bad.
And I do think like that game uses Card.io is a reason not to play that game.
Yes, I will tell you. So I have a teammate, Zach. Zach has been talking about Overpower as like so Overpower is this new card game. It's all about like
New old card game, but yes.
New old. Yes, it's another one of these. We're reviving
Revival,
a card
yeah.
game from the 90s. And it's mostly IP agnostic, like Billy the Kid and stuff, and then they're gonna get Invincible, and that's the thing that makes me kind of interested. But I'm gonna be real. When I loaded the page that he sent me for it, and it said overpowered.card.io, I was immediately off put a bit. I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to put another card.io game on my like sheet. I'll deal with it for universes because I love this game to death. I don't know if I can put up with a second game dealing with card.io.
Yeah. I'm hoping that like the massive influx of people using Riftbound and then complaining about card.io being dog water because of Riftbound. Yes, it uses 2.0 card.io, which is still terrible for what it's worth. I would argue it's just as bad, if not worse. But so the games I know of that use card.io are Lorcana, Us, Riftbound, and Cookie Run.
Cookie Run, yeah.
Yep. And then now Overpower.
Yes. I don't know which version Overpower uses, but I know Lorcana and Riftbound both use 2.0, Cookie Run, and we use 1.0. And then they also have like a third, like a game agnostic version for both that you can just run whatever the hell you want, which who cares?
How are you like a company as successful at getting games around you as card.io has been? I mean, those are most of the big games that have come out recently: Lorcana, Riftbound, and
not Cookie Run.
And Cookie Run.
Apparently, not Cookie Run.
Well, look, I mean, Riftbound, because UVS Games already familiar. Yes. Like already, you're right. That's easy to explain. Riftbound, and the other two. Look, you think Ravensburger has their ear to the ground on the goings on of the TCG market? They have no idea. And it's a great demo. Card.io demos really well. The sales pitch, the PowerPoint deck for that probably looks great.
I understand how they are acquiring these people, but it's like you are successfully getting a monopoly on tournament software for more independent IPs. You don't have a full one yet, but you're getting there. And you're crapping the bed this much. Like you should have enough money to invest in a little bit better developers, testers, and all of that. We're also looking at Neuroscape getting this soon. I don't know what Neuroscape is.
I don't either.
I'm gonna keep it $100.
I mean, cool that there's another card game that they're getting, and more people will be like, "This sucks." But
I'm gonna save this one for when Kevin's on the podcast. But remind me, we should have a week where we just talk about like the new golden age of card games, because it's kind of crazy how many card games we're getting. I know Jimmy Wong, who's a big Magic creator, has talked about like that, like we're having a level of card games almost rivals like the mid 2000s where everything was getting a card game. But that is a conversation for another day because I have a lot of thoughts on that.
Yeah, I also got my Kickstarter. I don't have it up here, but for Magi Nation, and that's another old card game that just recently came back. I'm so excited. I need to play some games. I should tell Zach that I'd be willing to learn Overpower if he'll learn Magi Nation with me.
Oh, I will learn Overpower just because it's like $25,000 prize pools.
I thought it was 10.
It's my box of Magi Nation cards.
Your old one? Hell yeah. Dude, the game is so cool.
I played this with my sister a fair bit.
It's so cool.
Yeah. It's like the KOF 3v3 format, except that's the whole game.
Yeah.
So Overpower, I think it's $10K for the regionals, and then their nationals is going to be $25K.
Sure.
As a prize pack. And it's like 60 people are showing up to these events. And I'm like, dude, for 10K pricing for the 60 people tournament, I kind of want to show up to that.
Just go shark it. Yeah.
Just go shark it. I'll go. Like, Fight Around has been like half joking about us all getting into Overpower to try to shark the tournament.
You know what? Like I said, I'll do it if people will learn Magi Nation with me. I don't know if it's any good.
Is this the game is Overpower the one where your guys are like in a pyramid type of thing, or is that something else?
So I know very little about the game. The thing that was really funny to me is, so you have like a playable character similar to Universes. 3 of the playable characters right now are 3 different versions of Angry Mob. One is Angry Mob Medieval Age, Angry Mob, I think it's Golden Age, and then Angry Mob, I think Bronze Age. And I'm like, that is just funny thing to be a playable character.
Hell yeah.
Could you imagine if like the My Hero set just had like civilian number 5 as a playable character? I'd be so in.
Yeah, I mean,
To be fair, I said
point
I'd
in
never
case,
entertained the thought. Chris,
people
you
have
barely play universes nowadays. Like,
but yeah, case in point, people have more and more options now, and something like being frustrated with your tournament software can be a reason people go to other games, right? I know people talk about Grand Archive having the best OP software in the industry because they made it themselves. I went to a Grand Archive event. The one downside of that software, and it's kind of an upside, is that they have to do paper match slips. You don't report in the software, so you need a little more judge power, but that means that you don't have as many mistakes, right? In theory, provided the players sign, as long as the person typing them in is really careful, right? Or it's one person that's going to make the mistakes, but that's an apparently very stable, very well featured OP system that I'm surprised they don't sell because they need money. Grand Archive's problem is that they have probably, I don't know literally the entire industry, but so far as I know, as far as people say, they have the best printing process in the industry. Like their physical cards are just really, really, really good. But that's because they've worked really hand in hand with one printer.
Sure.
And they are printing at capacity, and they have been for a while. They cannot print more cards than they are. They have no way to print more cards because they can't afford to pay for this printer to have a bigger plant.
Right.
So they're just stuck because they can't do this with anyone else. So I'm surprised, given that they need money this badly, they haven't figured out a way to like make forks of Omnidex and compete with Crowd.io.
I think the dream will be like the ideal world. We often talk like Universes has the company I know has, when you talk to the people there, they'll talk about like they're hoping Riftbound is one of these things that will raise UVS as well, because the support, the money that Riftbound brings in, support that Riftbound brings in might bring over UVS. We'll see if that's true or not. If there is anything I would want to come from it, it's Riftbound decides to make their own tournament software because they have like a very strong financial incentive to do it.
Riftbound makes UVS games enough money that
UVS makes the software.
They hire real developers.
To make it.
You don't even need a real developer, but you might as well get a real developer.
Right.
Like I said, you could probably convince a college class to take this on as a group project, like senior project type thing, and get a really good software out of it. But
and then that could then transfer over to UVS. That's like one would be ideal to me. But keeping us moving on pace, because we have been on this topic for a little bit, I want to talk a little bit about the Top Gun. I do agree, just make it an app, not a website.
I don't think there's a dramatic difference.
Because
a lot of apps are websites, just like they're written using the same web language. Right? It's not.
You need the website for people who are on desktop, like putting decks on and stuff like that. But I do think a mobile app version, because the website, again, might just be a Card.io problem. The website often has more loading issues than an app might.
There's no difference. They're both making requests over the internet to get stuff. It's not.
Shut your computer speak. All right.
That's not going to matter.
Moving on to talking about the top 8 list just a little bit. Very interesting top 8. I owe David Tubes an apology, and my apology was in the form of $50 I sent him, because I said Mikasa will not be that good. That is my bad. In fairness, it's the problem of judging characters in a vacuum, because in a vacuum, I think Mikasa only reads okay. She's a 5-hander who has to pop foundations for her draw. She gets good damage when she has weapon cards in hand, but like that seems like you're going to have a build problem on paper. And then you realize that we have print, just looking at one of these lists real quick. We'll pull up Will's list.
My list is just Tam's list with like 2 changes, but yeah.
Yeah, you've printed so many cards that clear themselves from the card pool. And so you get to do a low foundation count pony impression, where on 4 foundations, you can still play 5, 6, 7 attacks because they constantly are clearing themselves. That's true. Because they constantly clear themselves from the card pool. And yeah, it turns out when you are pony, who adds +3 damage to things, you're pretty good.
With 35 health, that's an important bit. There are so many times Yeah, there were so many times this weekend where I'm like, or that weekend where I was like, oh my god, I'm so glad I have 35 health.
Yeah. No, I get it. Like, it makes sense. Plus, you get the powerful like death pop things like arrogant fighter and things like that. Looks like that you're not running, or like Tam's version was not running the 2 diff seal. I guess the 1 diff seal is probably just better in this instance because we're not milling. I forget the name of it. The
Loss
2
of
diff,
consciousness and arrogant fighter.
loss of
Yeah.
conscious. Thank you.
I think there
Yeah,
just
no.
wasn't space. I probably could have moved some stuff around. It's
I
just
think if you've
I
got
built this
4
deck like the
arrogant
night
fighter,
before. Yeah,
if you've got 4 arrogant fighter, you're probably good to go.
sure.
So like, I think this is a very like powerful character here. But it was only 3 of top 8. The other ones are all characters.
Only 3 after being 3 of the previous top 8, and yeah.
True.
I think it's cool that there were 4 Mikasas and only 3 of them were Mikasa 4.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I do want to shout out the goated Mikasa 1. So like River is a really cool player. I believe he's Block Party is the team that he's on. I've played against him once or twice when he was on Pony. And the Pony deck like struggled because that was Hanj format where I would just DR Pony to the moon. This Mikasa 1 is kind of in the same vein. Makes sense because, you know, Pony's been errated. It's really cool to see a Mikasa back and successful.
Yeah,
I don't know.
People have kind of like, you know, Mikasa 1's been in the air, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But people are like, yeah, this character's still good, and it just we haven't.
She just
barely seen it even register.
Right. She just needed more like valuable weapons, and I think.
Yes.
I mean, I think there was a world where if someone wanted to play her instead of Pony, right before they banned sweeping, she also would have been good. But now we have like Ride the Lightning, and that's also a decent card. So
the way that I've always kind of said with Mikasa 1, Mikasa's 1 errata did not inherently make the character less powerful. It made her more restrictive. She
Correct.
had to have a card pool that was good enough to where she could do it with just the weapon keyword. But like in theory, if her weapon card pool is as good post errata at some point as pre errata with her more generic pool, she would be the same power level character. And we are seeing, we can argue if it was always there, but we are seeing the weapon card pool get strong enough that Mikasa 1 can just do the game, which I think is really, really cool. Shout out to Ymir who lost a win-in versus Mikasa. I was excited to see Ymir back. This really was a tournament where we saw a lot of like, or a couple of characters who had kind of fallen off the map come back. You had Ymir, you had Mikasa 1.
I think there was a sense that maybe there wasn't going to be as much of an unyielding presence at this event. Between some of the backup stuff being touched and whatnot, and then Ymir goes on stream and gets bullied by unyielding. And it turns out that at least the Top Cut Rodon and maybe some other ones were running copies of Unyielding. The Krista is on Unyielding. So people are continuing to find ways to leverage that card.
Yeah. And to give you a little bit more evidence for your claim there, Justin, that this is a pretty like interesting, unique tournament where we saw a lot of like returning characters. If you pop over to top 16, there's a Berthold 2 in there. There's Eren Yeager 1. There are 2 Grogs. There's Ymir, and then there's a Ghidorah. So like it's a cool like pile of characters.
I've got to show my bias for a quick second. Paul's a close friend. Love Paul Butler. He almost made it with post errata Bert 2. Literally bubbled out at 9th. And that would have been so cool to see back.
But if it hadn't been for me, he would have been top 8.
Truly, I think if you had beaten Ryan, he ends up getting in on the bubble.
I think so. I'm not 100% sure.
But like in theory, he could have gone in. We also have 2 Grogs in top 16. Yeah. The character who Grog may have the worst conversion rate of a character in the last year because he has shown up in pretty decent numbers at a lot of the events and has yet to top 8 a tournament.
But he's cool.
He's fun. I love me a Grog. I love me a big angry man. So there were.
I think less Godzilla, probably very good for Grog.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
General less presence of decks that are doing voluminous amounts of damage outside of Devil Jin, perhaps. And I mean, Grog has like, I assume he's playing Forcing Surrender and have some things to harass Devil Jin a bit.
Yeah.
And being, we've seen DR decks be successful, and then this is a little bit different shape, but Grog is certainly a DR character.
Yeah, and one of these Grogs getting playing Potemkin Buster is real fun.
Absolutely. And then I'm looking to see what else was notable top 16. I do think it's interesting there was a King Ghidorah in top 16 after like I had heard so many people and myself, like I'm not going to absolve myself from this, saying that like, oh, King Ghidorah is dead after Guilty Gear.
Yeah, I mean there's definitions of dead, right?
Right.
There's
because
dead if you want to win a tournament and you play a character that gets that has that much of a problem with an attack like Megalomania, then it might be dead in the sense that it feels really, really unlikely that Ghidorah is going to take down Worlds.
Your chance of winning, you need to find a very specific matchup.
There's some matchup dodging, and I mean, Ghidorah does get to play, Nonagon and some other things that can, stop. He could play Filled with Doubt. He can play, high speed dodge or whatever. There's not without answers. It's just on top of like already not liking to see unyielding destruction. It's just like yet another thing that he doesn't like to run into. But that doesn't mean you can't place 15th in an 80-person event. Like
right.
100%. Yeah.
Also, I would like to point out this is the second time we've expected Ghidorah to be dead at a tournament, and then he still has any kind of showing at all.
I think the big thing with like Ghidorah is he is just such a good character at playing the game. Like, he is so consistent at finding the foundations or attacks he wants to find because his character literally grabs them from the discard pile. That like you just have such a versatile tool set that will kind of be evergreen even when there are big things that hit him. Like it will be very hard to say King Ghidorah is a strictly bad character at a tournament. But going back to top 8 real quick, just want to kind of speed through the other ones. We continue to see Krista show up. We're seeing more of the City Rampage version of Krista. This is a character that has felt very on again, off again this year. Obviously at the beginning of the year, Nats and World.
I mean, has she topped the last 3 NA regionals or something like that? I mean,
she topped Louisville. I don't think did she top Atlanta? Am I mistaken?
Yes. Travis was playing her.
You're right. Travis was playing her. Never mind. She's been pretty relevant all year. Just not relevant, but not necessarily signed up a ton at every tournament.
It's a lot of moving parts. I know when I've played Crystallis, and I think Ezra's is the one I was sort of basing off of when I was playing around with it locally. Your damage feels a little dodgy. If you don't get a heat ray involved, and you're trying to get there with a lot of like 7 damage moves. And sometimes that you're facing, all these 35 health monsters, it's just not quite enough to like get there, or you're going to need 2 turns to do it. And, do you find the defense to live or not? It just felt a little sussy, but not so much that it's like, oh my God, I can't believe this deck topped. I totally believe this deck is topping events, and I'm sure she could win one. Right.
Right.
It's also notable that like she has been kind of a strictly NA character. She does not show up very much. I was just scrolling through the international list to double check.
Yeah, because I mean it's
internationally.
Yeah, it's just it's a group of players that really like playing her. Ezra was the one that topped with her in Louisville, if I recall.
Yes.
Obviously Travis likes
I think in
her.
Louisville he made 9th. I think he actually bubbled.
Was that top 16 cut though?
Top
right?
16 at Louisville.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh right, I'm thinking of a different event that had a smaller number. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, there's a small number of Chris enjoyers. I do like the deck is fun. I think the deck's cool. I'm surprised more people don't play it, but it's Krista's stuff on face is not nearly as like, oh my God, I should clearly be playing this, as like reading Rodon's face, right? If you're the kind of player that wants to play a deck that's a little technical.
And then Jacob Hyde, who I've not seen in Top Cut a ton. I don't recognize that name a ton. So very cool to see a player you don't see as much make top 4 with Rodon.
And this is the The classic is people were talking about this when Rodon came out, and then sort of naysayed it, and then here it is again, the unyielding destruction Rodon, where worst case scenario you pass the turn at like 7 foundations to their 4, and you're Rodon.
Yes, it's
Good luck,
a
right?
very good example of if Rodon's biggest issue can often be if the opponent can play 5, 6, 7 attacks in a turn, because he only has so many cards in hand. Well, if you keep them on 4 foundations and you're playing 7, you can usually block 2 to 3 times as Rodon very easily on 7 foundations. And at 4 foundations their end, it's hard for them to assemble much of an offensive. Very clear strategy. Barrier Shield also makes it very scary to go in when they're at 4 foundation, or when you're at 4 foundations trying to attack Rodon, because if he's gripping a Barrier Shield, Breaker 2 can be really bad on a low foundation count. It makes a lot of sense as a deck. Like, Kyle, of course, doing the Devil Jin Equipment Heist Massive Mune Machine thing. We'll probably be talking more about the Equipment Heist Massive Mune Machine in just a little bit. But it is just crazy that Devil Jin has shown up at every single, like, post errata, post hits, post bans. He's like, well, maybe Devil Jin's not as good anymore. He lost teaming. He's now limited to his turn, and he keeps topping anyways.
Yeah, I mean, he went away for a minute, and then Heist and Mass Machine came out, and he's just like such an obvious fit for that stuff.
Yeah. And then finally, it's won by another one I want to shout out for someone I have spoken to a lot. Constantine, really happy. A player who hasn't topped 8 a ton, from my understanding. I think he's topped 8 a couple of times, but has been a member of the community for a pretty sizable amount of time. And so to see him finally get his moment in the sunlight with this first place is really cool. Of course, it is a Mikasa. It is, I don't think necessarily identical.
We're running dust attacks and lethal rendings. This one has some differences for sure.
Yeah.
Smiling Death is a thing I always love whenever I see Smiling Death show up in a deck list. I think this card's really cool when a deck can facilitate it right. And obviously this character facilitates it very well. I am very happy to see this list and see Constantine make it. I do also think the Dust Attack as basically a 4th remove itself from card pool if it gets the hit off is cool. This is just overall a really great list.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like about it is that it's a 5 diff when you're playing mostly 4s, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. You just have to be a little bit more careful when you play it.
But with that in mind, let's go and talk a little bit about kind of where the format is shaping up, because we have a ban list coming up. Do you guys think this top 8 will lead to any considerations on the ban list in what, 3 days or 5 days?
I don't think they will go after Mikasa. I at least my read on that character is that she is relatively unlikely to thrive in a world where everyone who shows up to Worlds is making sure they feel okay about their Mikasa matchup.
Right. Like people are playing Heat Tackle and Scales of Juno and stuff like that.
Yeah. And even if you're not playing specific tech for that deck, you can still play something that feels decent into it, right?
Right.
I mean, part of it is preying on decks that aren't really that prepared to deal 35, or that they're so keyed down on stopping specifically Devil Jin that Mikasa's shape of attack line is catching them off guard. And we saw Mikasa 1 was another play along string deck, right?
Yep.
Along similar lines. So I think I don't see this character being so strong that she's going to overpower. It's not like a younger Toguro situation where everyone's out to get you and you're still just taking half of top cuts.
Right.
I think people will still be paying a lot of attention to Heist decks and Devil Jin and whatnot if that survives. But they're going to be giving Mikasa her due and making sure that they're ready to face these decks for Worlds. And that doesn't mean she won't show up. You still have to respect her. People are still going to play it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm not necessarily saying she will get hit on the ban list. I don't think her face will get hit, though, for sure. Because at least one of her clear from card pools with dual needle lunge is already going to be rotated. And I can easily see them going she'll be fine post rotation because losing one of her non-progs cards would make a pretty sizable difference. I actually think if they decide to hit her, it'll be a love tap with hitting like the dual needle or the anchor lunge, just one of the non-prog cards, and be like, hey, you know, we want the progressive to really feel like it matters. Dual needle lunge gets you so much in so many different decks. We're gonna rotate it a month early.
I could see them doing even like a smaller love tap, right? Like I could see them hitting like weapon at the ready.
Yeah.
Because like that's the thing you're looping the dual needle lunge with.
Yeah, I don't think they bother at all.
Sure. I mean,
I think if Mikasa 4 is your top deck, good.
Sure.
You know, at some point, right? Like has some defense, does some tricky techie stuff, but not like suffocating defense. Has a really strong offense. Usually needs to get to like turn 3 worth of setup. Has some direct counters.
Right.
You know, because she's the anchor toss is a 2 damage move, right? She makes it 5 damage. Okay. Right.
And it's still 3
if we're playing dust attack now, you're allowed to block that and turn off the effect, right? There's a lot of play against her. I think they're more likely to decide, you know, we don't know what the state of their internal conversations are, how close or not close they were in the last ban list to hitting a massive mutant machine or any yielding destruction were like the 2 notable things that didn't get touched there.
Right.
And both of those, neither of those cards like completely waxed this event, but neither of them were gone. I mean, yielding destruction was a lot more present than people thought it would be. And you still had a couple massive mutant machine decks in top cuts. So, you know, those decks are still, you know, Devil Jin not that hurt by losing teaming, as we kind of surmised. And, you know, Hux is is another flavor of equipment heist deck that much more well-rounded, plays some better defense. I like the Hawks decks a lot. I was saying in the pre-show, the only reason I'm not going to consider Hawks for Worlds is because you are there's that Worlds pool is going to have, you know, 4 or 5 people in it that have play tested an awful lot against Hawks,
right?
That are all very good players, and it is extremely unlikely that you're going to get through the bracket without having to face one of them,
right?
So, you know, trying to pick up Hawks and be good enough to tango with, you know, those players and all of their decks probably at least feel decent into you is not like that exciting of a prospect, but on its face, Hawks as a deck is very good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now Will?
I was just agreeing.
I do think if you look at the results, because I can definitely see a world where Mikasa doesn't get hit because she does feel quote unquote fair in many ways with how her core mechanics are working. I am very interested to see what they are thinking when it comes to Equipment Heist and Massive Mutant Machine. Equipment Heist feels like a card that will have to get hit eventually. I think it is in my opinion, it's a very poor future-proof design card of like every time we make a big asset, which we've wanted to do more of now, we've really wanted to test the limits of what can our big cards do. We have to ask, can it handle being cheated in with Massive Mutant Machine? And I think that is a
Equipment Heist, yes.
Concern. Like, or Equipment Heist, thank you. Like,
yeah, I mean, there's big assets, and then there's 7 difficulty permanent stat stick.
Yeah.
Of, you know, +5/+5.
Yeah, we already arguably have something that it's hard to beat. It's hard to beat +5/+5 repeatedly.
Yeah, I think, my inclination, I think a number of people's inclination is that if people are doing heists and doing some like, you know, okay, I'm going to grab 1 Cerritos and 1 airship and 1 Yeetus Deletus or whatever, and we're going to like use those to patch together a more effective attack turn with our 5 difficulty no block action that doesn't do anything unless we jump through some hoops. Like, pop off. Let's see it. Let's see it. Like, there's a chance that something in that shape becomes, you know, too good, but it's probably not massacring people onto in like a completely overwhelming fashion of like, lol, here's +15/+15 got an answer. Like, you know.
And it is worth noting that like the Hawks deck, I kind of like the Hawks deck having Equipment Heist and Massive Mutant Machine. I like that deck having a win con. Like, Hawks has always been a very cool character.
Hey, to be fair, it does still have that Turtles attack. That does still just kill people.
The only deck, that is true. The only deck that I look at and go, maybe we should just be killing this deck is Devil Jin. And like, maybe we just need to take Devil Jin out to pasture at a certain point. Just like it is a design that just is not working. It constantly is topping everything and winning it, or coming in so highly ranked. Maybe we just kill Devil Jin instead of hitting Mass Mean Machine or Equipment Heist themselves.
Yeah, I think I don't really want to go through the procession of like how many times do we just keep moving people to the next best Massive Machine deck.
Sure.
That's sort of something I would imagine would play out. But yeah, it's just true that Devil Jin is making the most noise with it presently.
Yeah.
And then the other card, Unyielding Destruction, obviously I've wanted that card banned since basically it existed. And here we are again. Now we have decks. Playing it as a control mechanism isn't as offensive as for a little while we had a bunch of like backup theme decks that were going Unyielding into kill you now, right? With Earthbreakers or Unyielding into Rock Barrage into Titan Pile type stuff. So this is more fair in the sense that like they're not ending the game, they're just telling you that you just went second and it's your turn 2 and good luck. But I think part of my gripe with that card is that it's positioned, it's supposed to be there as a check on people that really want to drive the game out and play a million foundations, and it does do that to Deku in the sense that you at least force him to use his flash on it, and it kind of does that to Ghidorah, but those are like sort of unusual in terms of decks people play to try to drag out games, in that they don't have a lot of that speed reduction or defense on face. But it doesn't, Rodan barely cares, right?
Yeah.
Other decks that people play, to try to make long game struggle buses will usually have strong enough early game defense that they're not that bothered by you putting them back to 4 and passing the turn.
So 2 thoughts on that. One, I don't know if you can leave Deku unhit if you hit Unyielding. Like, obviously Deku has a way to play around Unyielding, but it does force a bit more of awkwardness in that matchup where he can't really flash the other moves that you have in your deck, because what if you're gripping and Unyielding and 2 of them can set him?
Yeah, and if the only reason that Unyielding is legal is it because you think Deku would be completely unacceptable if it's not, then
you kill Deku.
Deku has a problem, right? Like,
right, absolutely.
If you think Deku's not that problematic without whether Unyielding's there or not, then whatever. But the thing Unyielding hurts more, in addition to decks like Ymir that explicitly want to get a foundation count, is that there's a lot of decks, or like theoretical decks, that aren't that ready, doing what UVS Games wants them to do, which is to play a deck that isn't trying to bum rush you on 1 turn of build, and try to turn 2 sack you, right? What UVS is trying to design towards, right? And I mean, you look at some of these King of Fighter characters, and none of them are particularly well situated to go in on turn 2, and that's by design. They don't want people bum rushing people on 2. They want you to build a deck that needs some more foundations, and then you derive benefits from your character does something besides just slam stats on things, but now you need foundations to get the job done or whatever. That's what they want people to do. Why are we putting a card in the format that says low, go back to 4, I'm Rodan, good luck?
I think the problem is what they really want is for people to play the game at 9 to 10 foundations. I think that is what they want, because I think the game, like most times when I play the game,
I would say 7 to 10 foundations, right? 7 to 9, something like that, right?
Sure.
I think the game feels at its best on the turns where people are like 7 to 10. There is enough foundations and tools on the board that it feels like you're getting a lot of versatility and decision making, but not so much that like it just becomes incomprehensible for an observer to keep track of everything that's going on the board. Like, I think you're right that Unyielding and pushes people in the direction of, oh, we should play a bum rush deck like Devil Jin. On the flip side, without Unyielding, like it was the tournament before Unyielding was printed.
That's one tournament. I don't think that would have been the result every single time you play that tournament out.
I don't think it's every time, but I think there have been a sizable number of tournaments over the last couple of years where major matches, maybe not finals, maybe it's top 4, major matches go to 20 foundations.
There was a Ghidorah and a Rodan in this tournament that still could have happened.
It could have. Well, not
But-
with the Rodon himself creating.
Yes, but like the Rodon sure didn't lose to unyielding, right? The Rodon was playing unyielding.
But I think personally, my leaning is that we make real Deadlock again. Like I would rather unyielding die and then Deadlock gets
or you let your Mikasa Force be the best deck in the format, quote unquote, and that's going wide is kind of traditionally been a way to break up those long boards,
Sure.
especially like if Mikasa's at 15 versus 15 foundations against you, good luck.
Yeah.
Like
right.
I don't know. I like that unyielding allows people to play these control decks that don't necessitate 30 foundations on board. I like that design personally, but I also understand that unyielding is an obnoxious card.
Sure. Maybe we can get an unyielding that doesn't set us to 4 is the real thing, right? Like
the problem is unyielding is such a weird card where like if it sets you to 6 or 7 or 8, I think it just never sees play because
I mean at a certain point it's almost like it should be the Deadlock ability on a card that's already good.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
it should
100%.
It should be Vial Season's Deadlock, right, or something like that.
If
doesn't even have the word Deadlock, just says we both go back to 8.
Right.
And just on the
if it was on an otherwise good card, I think that would be
right. And that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, yeah, obviously a 2/5, 2/6, whatever 5 diff that says let's go back to 8 is not that good.
It's irrelevant.
It's sideboard at best, and that's if your meta is that like heavy on decks that go that high while also not being able to defend themselves against an ability like that, right?
And I will say, like, I could see unyielding dying for another reason. If they are looking at the stuff that is coming out, I guess legal now, January 1st with the champion cards, just became legal.
There's certainly there's rumblings out there about an unyielding Mark Tyner deck.
I know a lot of
sounds obnoxious.
I know a lot of UVS Ultra builds I've been seeing that do like Taguro's Dominance, Warped Pleasure, Unyielding, and keeps the opponent at 4 or less foundations the entire game, and then Breaker 2s them twice. And that sounds miserable. I don't want to do that.
That deck may or may not be able to kill anybody, but nobody is going to want to play against it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I definitely could see a world where unyielding dies. I think in a world where I don't think there is ever a ban list that is unyielding, ship everything else. I think you see other things like Deku and things like that get hit if you hit unyielding.
Maybe.
I would not be opposed to an unyielding ban if we hit other cards.
Yeah, I do think unyielding and mutant / heist, whichever one you want to pick, is probably going to be on the in the sweeping daggers, combined firepower, etc. club of they could hit this on any ban list at any time in the next 2 years, and everyone would be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And they probably won't make it all the way through the 2 years, but whether it's in a week or a month or 3 months or 6 months or 15 months, you don't really know how long they're going to stick around.
Right.
Yeah. I think I will be shocked if Equipment Heist survives everything. Unyielding, I don't know. I kind of do think it would be good if it's gone. I also think it is doing what
I think they will. I think if nothing else, they will have a replacement in line, coming in a set that they think is a healthier version of this, and they'll ban unyielding at that time.
Yes, I could definitely see. I could definitely see a.
Hell, it could even be Godzilla. That's very
dramatic
much
style.
Right.
If unyielding is serving a functional design, and serving a job where it's hey, this is sort of doing the thing we wanted to do, but also people are abusing it. I could see them designing a new version that still does the thing they wanted to do without creating all of the new problems that it creates. And I would be interested to see what that looks like. So I guess at the end of the day, kind of summarize the thoughts. I know, Tim, you hate this question because you hate trying to predict what banlist people are doing.
Okay, let's just give percentages.
With January being, I guess, not technically the last list because we could hit something in February, but very likely the last.
Yeah,
list.
there's no reason for them. There's not much reason unless they really think they need that much more time to think about it.
Yeah. So with this being the last ban list before Worlds, do you think there will be a hit? And if so, like if you were putting money down, what would you hit or think it hits?
I'll say 50-50 unyielding goes, 30% chance Mutant Machine or Heist goes, 10% chance they want to do something with Mikasa.
What about Deku? You think any percent chance of Deku?
He did nothing at the like. I do not hate Deku as much as a lot of people do.
Sure.
And I'm the sort of person that is, bloodshot red glowing eyes. I hate OTK decks. I just don't think Deku is a good OTK deck.
Sure.
I think he's much more effective when, at least in my experience against him, I've not losing because he OTKs me, generally speaking. It's because he puts 9/9 on 2 pokes.
Yeah.
Right. Or something like that. And puts me and eventually works me into a corner while playing like okay defense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just don't think that much of Deku.
Sure.
Will?
I mean, kind of the same. I think there's probably a higher chance of the Devil Jin stuff getting hit.
Yeah.
Like I'm not as big of a unyielding hater, but
yeah, there were a lot of turn 2 blowups with Devil Jins on stream.
Yeah.
That's fair. They might react to that.
Right. Like, and I think that's the thing that I'm more worried about. Also, because like, especially with Devil Jin, a handful, not all, but a couple of the answers that deal with equipment heist just don't work. Like forcing, you need to see multiple because they're just going to put a Goblin Bolt into the card pool. Sure, that slows them down a little bit if they have to do it quickly, but like that doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So I think if we're seeing anything, I would put money down on either Massive Mutant or Equipment Heist.
Yeah, or Devil Jin himself.
Or Devil Jin himself.
And one of the 3.
Sure.
Yeah. I kind of think that is the most likely that, and again, I think it could be any of the 3. It depends if they think Devil Jin's the bigger problem or if they think the future proofing issues or just spammability of Equipment Heist and Mutant Machine is the problem. So I can see any of those getting hit.
If they really want to push their 3v3 format, they should hit Mutant Machine for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
That card's broken in 3v3.
The more we talk about Mikasa, the more fine I am with Mikasa. I think Yashu probably survives. Even though people might throw a fit or like and who cares if people are complaining?
I was gonna say people complain about every deck that wins.
People are gonna throw a fit because the second place.
Remember when Armor of the Wolf had to be banned? I'm just gonna go back to that every time. Remember then that was the big angry mob wanting Armor of the Wolf banned.
For what it's worth, I still hate that card, but it's fine. I just don't like it.
I think there is a small chance of Deku, mostly because I think like if you want to hit Unyielding, I could see going, hey, we're going to hit Unyielding, but we think Unyielding has also been a check on this deck, so we're going to do something to this deck as well. I think that is a very reasonable thing for them to do. And then again, I think there was a small chance of Unyielding, and those are the only ones I really could see happening on this ban list. Barring some really weird stuff.
Yeah, maybe someone has like put an envelope under their door alerting to them to a broken combo that like, if you guys don't ban this, I'm playing it at Worlds, and then they like, hey guys, we need to stop this, right?
Or like them going, hey, maybe we shouldn't have printed Mark Tyner.
Yeah, right.
He failing the check does in the combat phase. Maybe we need to errata that to say it doesn't in the combat phase. Barring something weird like that, I don't see anything else getting hit.
And for a fun like little thing before we call it a night, is there anything you specifically don't want them to hit? Like basically like I think if they're hitting this as an answer to one of these things that we think are a problem, not necessarily us, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I
want them to leave Heist alone.
Touch?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like Heist. I think Heist is cool.
Sure.
I'm in the flip side. I want them to leave Unyielding alone. I like that card.
I'm gonna say a card that we didn't talk about at all. I hope they don't hit Goblin Bolt. I like Goblin Bolt. I think Goblin Bolt is super cool, except in characters that just get to cheat it in from their discard pile, like Devil Jin.
Oh, I don't see a world where they hit Goblin Bolt. If they actually, I do see a world.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I can absolutely see a world where I go, why did you guys think this was correct? And their answer is, oh, this is.
We got to hit Devil Jin and Deku. It's great.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
It's like they go, we get to do that, and it's a card that stops a lot of counterplay. Blah blah blah. Like,
I could see them hitting it. So
I don't want
yeah,
them to. I like that
I
card.
think all three of these, or I think that one I definitely would not want them to hit, because I think AGB is a cool card when you play it fairly.
Mhm.
I think blocking with Aerial Goblin Bolt is so cool.
Yeah, I was playing in Bridget, and it was super cool. It was really good, but it wasn't like crazy.
So yeah, I definitely agree with that. I
Yeah.
also like Massive Beam Machine Equipment Heist. So I think I don't want any of these cards hit. I'm actually fine. Like hit Devil Jin and then ship it for Worlds. That's what I want.
Yeah, I try to like. I'm trying to do like when I talk about bans, I'm trying to do more guiding principles of like let people do their cool things. I think Equipment Heist can do a lot of cool things. I don't think Massive Beam Machine is cool. I think that card is boring as hell.
I like Smiling Titan. So and I got my waiting for the Smiling Titan. And look, it just feels like I'm Smiling Titan again, throwing 5/5 on things. I just let me do this, man.
You would never gonna beat the allegations.
I know. Pants on head, give me 5/5 on moves. That's all I need. Can we buddy and hackle in too? Look, hey, I
Yeah.
will say, last thing I'll say before we wrap up, coolest thing, Guilty Gear thing I saw besides the Bridget combo. Ocean Buddies in Deku is cool with him getting Aerial Goblin Bolt, and depending on your symbol, I guess you could do Hackle as well. Ocean Buddies Aerial Goblin Bolt is cool. Ocean Buddies Hackle is cool. I'm down for it.
I just said that card is broken when you get the 2 in. God damn it.
Yeah, it's cool. You know what?
Well, I guess the counter argument, I guess, is that Ocean Buddies is not easily repeatable.
There's a list of things that are cool the first 5 times you see it. And then by like 7, 8, 9, you're like, okay, no, this is actually lame.
Okay, in fairness, I don't think it's that crazy with Ocean Buddies because your opponent also gets to put what is.
Sure.
And imagine your opponent putting in like Equipment Heist or something like that into their pool. And it's like, oh, well, now that sucks.
Yeah, no, yeah, Ocean Buddies is an interesting card, and it's
really
designed to do stuff like this, and it's just gonna be a thing in the format, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I think that kind of wraps things up. We will go ahead and move on to our closing thoughts because we're hitting a little past that hour. So I'll go and talk for Broberg real quick. He has built UVS. He was not here this week, but he's here most weeks. He's also been doing a Substack and a lot of writing on a build UVS Substack. So go check out whenever he posts there. I think his writing is really interesting. If a little bit purple prose at sometimes, but that's the Broberg way, and we love him for it. Tim?
Yeah, Satonis on YouTube, CETONIS. I haven't done a video walk. I even put out the like winter meta poll and thinking that King of Fighters wouldn't get previewed till like mid-January, and then it got previewed 3 days later. So we kind of put the kibosh on that. I figure I'm just going to send that out after the ban list now. And between now and then, or maybe after then, I owe UVS Games a Guilty Gear Strive box opening that I just haven't sat down and had the energy and motivation to do. I do want to open this box. Blitz boxes are really fun and cool to open. I'm just in a 12-day work week. Trying to do a little more chilling when I get home, but yeah.
I've already hit all my luck with Guilty Gear. I don't want to open anymore.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I got an Chrome.
Nice.
I've yet to pull a Chrome.
Get wrecked.
That was the second Chrome.
Well, you also don't buy product.
That's true. Actually, you know what? You got me.
Yeah, I've gotten like
pull Chromes if you don't open.
I've gotten like 4 boxes in the last 6 months.
Yes, I will be for 14 people. I do have Twitch/Satonis that I don't. I'm gonna have to remember to swap my stream key over to, or else I'll be streaming our raid prog on Vortex Cast, which I guess is also fine. But on one of these 2 channels, I will be streaming Savage Prog. This is mostly so that I can do some VOD review. We can look after polls, see what happened or whatever. So I'm not like actively. I'll try to talk to Jeff if somebody's posting in there, but I'm going to be focused on getting things dead.
I was actually a little worried when I started stream on this backup laptop that my stream key was set to double mulligan. So I was like, crap, guys, please check. Let's make sure I'm on the right stream.
Right.
Will?
And then finally, I am running the YouTube channel for our VODs. It's the same as this one. It's except at YouTube for Chexcast. Most recent episodes always go up on Monday or Tuesday. Always Monday, unless for some reason I'm out of town or something happens. I'll try to schedule it for Monday, but if it's not on Monday, see it on a Tuesday.
And then I technically have double mulligan, but I haven't done stuff in there in a while.
Not real.
So at some point, whenever that stuff's back, I will make a big like show when I'm actually doing stuff on that again. But probably not when I'm going to a tournament every Saturday for speech and debate. So with that in mind, thank you guys all for tuning in. We're gonna go and send you to raid someone. Is Tam live right now? I know he was feeling.
No, Tim is also sick.
I got nothing.
Who is anyone streaming right now?
If you ask me, I'm just going to tell you some Genshin streamer. So
I tell you what,
they won't even know what's going on.
Also, the most important thing to say: Happy New Year, everyone!
Happy New Year, y'all! I'm gonna send you guys to a Yu-Gi-Oh streamer, which is maybe a fate worse than death.
This guy,
Luke von Karma. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
See ya.